Hello everyone, I'm Shakir. Welcome back to another episode of Last Week in Sports. We had quite a bit of sporting action last week. First up is cricket. We get into England versus India, fourth test match played in Oval London. After thumping India in the third match, England were looking to consolidate on that and take the lead in the series. But it was never going to be easy. The oval pitch, which is known as a flat track, had lots of runs in store. England won the toss and put India into bat. It turned out to be a great move for England as their bowlers were all over the Indian batsmen. Once India lost its openers with the score at 28, there was very little resistance from the middle order except from the captain Virat Kohli, who got his second 50 of the series. He played some glorious shots. But India were in deep trouble with 127 for 7. That's when Umesh Yadav and Shardul Thakur put on a partnership of 63 runs. Shradul did most of the scoring. He scored 57 runs from 36 balls, hammering the English bowlers all around the park. Once Shradul departed, it took English bowlers only 3 more deliveries to wrap things up. India were all out for 191. Oakes, playing his comeback test, picked up 4 for 55. Ollie Robinson picked up 3 for 38. The Indian bowling started really well, with Bumrah picking up both the openers with score at 6. Malan and Root played really well before Umesh bowled a peach to get rid of Root just before the end of day. England finished day 1 at 53 for 3. Day 2 started off really well for India. They reduced England for 62 for 5, but then came the resistance from England. Some good batting display by Ollie Pope, Bairstow, Moeen Ali, and Chris Oakes. Pope top scored with 81. Oakes got 50. Bairstow and Moeen Ali chipped in with 30s each. England were all out for 290 with a handy lead of 99 runs. They could have easily taken the lead to 200 plus, but credit to India to keep it below 100. Umesh Yadav, playing his comeback test, got 3 for 76 and Jadeja got 2 for 36. India came into bat and finished day 2 with 42 for no loss. The track became absolutely flat during the course of day 2 and it remained flat for the remainder of the match. India took total advantage of it with an opening partnership of 83 and a second wicket partnership of 153, which set the tone for the remainder of the innings. India finished the day at 270 for 3 with Kohli and Jadeja in the crease. Rohit Sharma scored his first overseas 100. He got out for 127. Pujara scored yet another half century, getting out for 61. Ollie Robinson picked up 2 wickets of the second new ball. The lead was now at 171 with 7 wickets in hand. On day 4, India dominated again. Kohli got out for 44. Pant scored a very patient 50. Patient according to his standards. Thakur got another 50 in the match. He smoked the English bowlers by scoring 60 runs of 72 balls. The 100-run partnership between Pant and Thakur took the game way out of England's reach. India were all out for 466, setting England a target of 368 to win, with the possible 122 overs left. England got a dream start. Both openers were unbeaten at the end of the day, with score at 77 for no loss. 289 more to get in the final day. Even though England had a huge task in their hands, but after their start, they had some hope of turning things around and drawing the game. The openers played really well, but it was India's all-round hero Thakur who picked up Rory Burns to give India its first breakthrough. Malan was run out, which was totally unnecessary, which opened the floodgates for India. Hamid got out to Jadeja, the ball pitching on the rough and getting his off stump. That's when the ball started reversing. In came Bumrah, picked up 2 important wickets of Bairstow and Pope to put India ahead. Thakur picked up Root and Umesh Yadav cleaned up the tail. India won by 157 runs. Rohit Sharma was declared the player of the match, but according to me, it should have been Shradul Thakur. Some interesting facts from the match. This is the second time India scored less than 200 in the first innings and yet went on to win the match. This is the second test win for India in the Oval from 14 matches. This was the 6th time England lost a test after getting a lead of 99 or more, the 3rd time at home. 4th time India won a match by giving a lead of 99 or more, 2nd time in an away game. Bumrah became the fastest Indian pacer to get to 100 wickets. He took 24 matches with an average of 22 plus. He bettered Kapil Dev, who took 25 matches to get to that feat, averaging 25 plus. This was Rohit Sharma's 8th Test century, and India has won every match where he scored a century. This is the highest for any player. A funny thing which happened was ECB posted the highlights video of day 3 and captioned it Electric Robinson picked up 2. Even though Rohit Sharma scored his maiden overseas 100, India being totally on top, but Robinson picked up 2 wickets only towards the end of the day. There were a lot of comments in the video for the caption. They quickly changed the caption in a few hours. During the course of the 4th test, Ravi Shastri and 2 other staff from the Indian squad tested positive for COVID-19 and were isolating. All the players returned a negative test and the match went on as normal. But just before the 5th test, India's junior physio returned a positive and the entire team was in close contact with him. Even though the players returned a negative test, they were worried about getting into the field. Due to COVID concerns, the match was cancelled just hours before the start. ECB had a huge loss due to the cancellation, close to £40 million. But England did a similar thing in South Africa back in December 2020. ECB and BCCI are in discussion to reschedule this match sometime in 2022. Let's see how it turns out, but right now the series is stuck, India leading it 2-1. Next up is the reminder of the Bangladesh vs New Zealand T20I series. Last week, the series was interestingly poised with Bangladesh leading it 2-1. Going into the 4th T20I, New Zealand had won the previous game convincingly and had to win this match to keep the series alive. They won the toss and elected to bat first. New Zealand batsmen, none of them made a big impact except for their captain Latham and William, who scored 21 and 46 respectively. New Zealand were bowled out for 93. Nasu Muhammad picked up 4 for 10 from his 4. Mustafizur picked up 4 for 12. In reply, Bangladesh were in trouble with 32 for 3 in the 6th over. But they responded really well, took the match deep to win it in the 20th over. They won by 6 wickets. Captain Muhammadullah was unbeaten for 43 and Naeem scored 29. Ajaz Patel picked up 2 for 9 from his 4. Nasu Muhammad was declared player of the match. The 5th T20I was a dead rubber, but New Zealand had to prove that they could play good cricket in these conditions. New Zealand won the toss again, but elected to bat first. They got a flying start and an amazing quick-fire 50 not out from their captain took them to 161 for 5 in their 20 overs. Finn Allen was amongst the runs as well. He scored 41. Bangladeshi bowlers were taken for a toll, except for Muhammadullah and Atif. New Zealand put up a good bowling performance as well. They were able to reduce Bangladesh to 46 for 4 in the 9th over. From then on, it was an uphill task for Bangladesh and they could manage only 134 for 8 in their 20 overs. Ajaz Patel picked up 2 for 21. New Zealand won by 27 runs. The player of the match was Tom Latham. Player of series was Nasu Muhammad. Bangladesh won the series 3-2. They turned out to be bigger winners, beating Australia and following it with this performance against New Zealand. Next, we move on to the Sri Lanka vs South Africa series. We had a third and deciding ODI and 2 T20Is played last week. In the third ODI, Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to bat first. They didn't get a great start. They kept losing wickets in regular intervals and they didn't have any good partnerships as well. They finished with 203 for 9 in 50 overs. Asalanka got 47, Chamira got 29, Keshav Maharaj picked 3 for 38. In response, South Africa didn't really bat well. They were bundled out for 125. Tikasana picked up 4 for 37. Chamira picked up 2 for 16 and was declared player of the match. Sri Lanka won by 78 runs and winning the series as well. Asalanka was player of the series. We moved on to the T20I series 3 days later. In the first match, South Africa won the toss and elected to bat first. De Kock and Hendricks got them off to a great start, which set the tone for the remainder of the innings. Markham top scored with 48. South Africa finished with 163 for 5 in 20 overs. Hasaranga picked 2 for 23. Sri Lanka got off to a great start and they had multiple partnerships going, but they were always behind the asking rate. They ended up 28 runs short. Chandimal carried his bat with an unbeaten 66, but that wasn't good enough. South African bowlers, everyone picked up a wicket except Rabada. The player of the match was Aiden Markham. In the second T20I, Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to bat first. Things didn't really go well for them. They were dismissed for 103 in 18.1 overs. Kushal Perera got 30, Rajapaksha got 20, Shamshi got 3 for 20, Aiden Markham got 3 for 21. South Africa had no trouble with the chase and smoked the target in under 15 overs. De Kock was unbeaten for 58, Markham was unbeaten for 21. Player of the match was Shamshi. Next, we move on to the Formula 1 action from Imola, Italy, the Prancing Horses Home Grand Prix. Before the race weekend, we got the confirmation of Valtteri Bottas moving to Alfa Romeo next year and George Russell teaming up with Lewis Hamilton in Mercedes next year. Last year, we saw Pierre Gasly winning this race with a lot of drama. This year was no different as well. Like Silverstone, this race had Friday qualifying, Saturday sprint qualifying, and Sunday race. On the Friday qualifying, Q1, cars eliminated were Mazepin, Kubica, Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda, and Latifi. In Q2, Russell, Ocon, Alonso, Stroll, and Vettel were eliminated. Q3 was dominated by two Mercedeses all the way. Valtteri, without the pressure of having to perform, pulled a great lap to finish P1. Hamilton P2, Verstappen 3rd, Lando Norris 4th, Ricciardo was fast and just 29 milliseconds behind Verstappen to come 5th, Gasly 6th, the two Ferraris, Sainz 7th, Leclerc 8th, Perez a disappointing 9th, Giovinazzi 10th. In the sprint qualifying, Bottas got a great start, so did Max. Hamilton had a poor start and he was passed by Max, Ricciardo and Norris. Gasly had a contact with one of the McLarens and lost his front wing, and he crashed out. The Ferraris gained spots due to Gasly's crash. Giovinazzi, Alonso and Stroll were the other gainers. Bottas finished first and got 3 points, but he had to start from the back of the grid as he changed parts for his PU. The lineup for the race was Verstappen, Ricciardo, Norris, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Perez, Stroll, Alonso, followed by Vettel, Ocon, Latifi, Russell, Tsunoda, Mazepin, Kubica, Mick Schumacher, Gasly and Bottas. The race started really well for Ricciardo and he took the lead in turn 1. Max was second. Hamilton passed Norris to get to third. But there was contact between Max and Lewis in the first lap, which let Norris take back his third spot. Verstappen had a poor pit stop and Hamilton overtook Norris in the same lap. Hamilton pitted in the next lap and got out between Norris and Verstappen. Hamilton exited the pit lane just ahead of Verstappen and tried to shut the door. In turn 2, Hamilton stuck to his line and Verstappen had nowhere to go. He hit the curb, bounced and landed on Hamilton's car. This meant both Lewis and Max had to retire from the race. The safety car was called in. Ricciardo kept his lead. Leclerc was second, but not for long. Norris overtook him. Perez overtook Leclerc by going out of the track and he kept his position. This resulted in a 5-second penalty to Perez. Bottas, starting from last in the grid, came through the line, overtook both the Ferraris and now was in 4th place. Bottas kept fighting till the end to get past Perez, but that didn't happen. Ricciardo finished first, his first win since Monaco 2018, McLaren's first win in almost 10 years, their first 1-2 in more than 10 years. Norris came second, Bottas third, Leclerc fourth. Perez, in spite of finishing third, ended up fifth due to his 5-second penalty. Sainz 6th, Stroll 7th, Alonso 8th, Russell 9th, again in the points for 3 races in a row now. Ocon finished 10th, taking the last point. Ricciardo also got 1 additional point for his fastest lap. Ricciardo was the clear winner, leading the race from lap 1. He celebrated the win with his trademark shoey. Verstappen will be serving a 3-place grid penalty in Sochi for his incident with Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen, by coming second in the sprint, has extended his lead to 5 points in the Drivers' Championship. Bottas stays third and Norris fourth. Mercedes have extended their lead to 18 points in the constructors. McLaren are back on number 3, leading Ferrari by 13.5 points. Next up is football. From EPL in England, Tottenham lost their away game against Crystal Palace 0-3. Arsenal registered their first win of the season against Norwich City 1-0. Ronaldo's return to Man United was very memorable one. Man U won 4-1 against Newcastle. Ronaldo scored 2 goals as well. Man City bet Leicester City 1-0. Chelsea bet Aston Villa 3-0. Liverpool bet Leeds United 3-0. Man United are on top of the table, followed by Chelsea and Liverpool. All the 3 teams are in 10 points. From La Liga in Spain, Atletico Madrid bet Espanyol 2-1. Real Sociedad bet Cadiz 2-0. Real Madrid bet Celta Vigo 5-2. Real Madrid are on top of the table, followed by Valencia, Atletico Madrid. All 3 are in 10 points as well. From Ligue 1 in France, PSG bet Clermont-Foot 4-0. Angers drew against Brest 1-1. Nice bet Nantes 2-0. PSG are on top of the table, winning all their 5 games, followed by Angers and Nice. From Bundesliga Germany, Dortmund bet Leverkusen 4-3. Wolfsburg bet Fürth 2-0. Bayern Munich bet RB Leipzig 4-1. Wolfsburg are on top of the table, winning all their 4 games, followed by Bayern Munich and Dortmund. Next up is tennis. Week 2 of the last Grand Slam of the year, the US Open. In women's singles, in the 4th round, Sakari bet 2019 champion Andreescu. The Brit teen Emma Raducanu bet Rogers in straight sets. Benik bet Swiatek. Pliskova bet Pavlyuchenkova. In quarterfinals, number 2 Sabalenka bet Kejikova in straight sets. Laila Fernandez came up with another upset, beating Svitolina. She became the youngest player to beat 2 players ranked 5 or below in the same Grand Slam, since Serena did this when she was 17 back in 1999. Sha'Carri bet Pliskova in straight sets. Emma Raducanu bet Swiss sensation Bencic in straight sets. She became the first player to reach the semis as a qualifier. In the semifinals, Emma Raducanu bet Sakari quite easily in straight sets. Laila Fernandez with another upset, beating Sabalenka in a well-fought match. The finals between Emma Raducanu and Laila Fernandez was clash of the teens. Laila Fernandez had just turned 19 during the course of the tournament. Emma Raducanu was still 18, just a couple of months younger than Laila. It was Raducanu all the way from the start, getting several breaks of serves. Laila tried to fight back by breaking Emma, but Emma got the better of Laila every time. In the second set, with the score at 5-4 and Emma serving for the match, she injured her knee and started bleeding. With the score at 30-40, Laila with the break point. Emma took a medical timeout, came back and won the game and the championship with an ace. She has been a class act throughout the tournament. Some interesting facts from the finals. This was the first time 2 teenagers clashed in the finals of the US Open in 22 years. The last time was in 1999, where Martina Hingis faced Serena Williams. It was the first time a qualifier reached the finals of the Grand Slam and won it. Emma Raducanu was ranked 150 at the start of the tournament. Now she has moved into the top 50. She was also ranked 338 6 months back, now moving into the top 50. Emma equaled the record of needing just 2 Grand Slams to win her first Grand Slam. Laila defeated 3 players who were ranked in the top 5 to reach the Grand Slam finals. She was the youngest player to achieve this after Serena Williams. We move on to the men's singles. In the 4th round, Djokovic bet Brooksby in 4 sets. Harris bet Opelka in 4 sets. Berrettini bet Ote in 4 sets. Zverev bet Sinner in 4 sets. In the quarterfinals, Alcaraz, who defeated Tsitsipas, did a walkover against Canadian Auger Aliassime. Medvedev stormed past Van de Zandschulp. Djokovic played his best tennis in the tournament to beat Berrettini. Zverev bets Harris in straight sets. In the semi-finals, Djokovic bet Zverev in a hard-fought 5-setter. Djokovic just has the energy to win a 5-setter every single time. Medvedev bet Auger Aliassime in straight sets. Coming into the finals, Djokovic had bet Medvedev in their previous encounter in the Grand Slam finals. But Medvedev was a different beast altogether this time. He took total control of the match by breaking Djokovic early in every set. He won the match in straight sets to lift his first Grand Slam trophy. Djokovic was very emotional after the defeat and cried his heart out. Some interesting facts from the finals. This was Djokovic's first defeat in a Grand Slam this year. His record stands at 27-1 this year. Djokovic came very close to winning a calendar slam but missed it on the last hurdle. This was the second time Djokovic and Medvedev clashed in a Grand Slam finals. The tally now stands at 1-1. Medvedev apologized to Djokovic in the presentation ceremony for not letting him win the calendar slam. That was really sweet. Medvedev also called Djokovic the greatest tennis player in history, according to him. Will this be the end of the reign of the Fab 3 in the men's draw? I hope not. I would love to see Joker win few more titles. That is all the sporting action from last week. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also check out our food and travel blog. The link is in the description below. Have a great week everyone. See you all soon.